What's up, guys? It's Megan and Corey and Walt, and we are here. I'm filling in for Dan this week. Dan deserves a nice break from from every week that he does this. But we are so happy to be here with you guys tonight, and we are going to be talking a little bit about Walt Disney World annual passes. And I would just like to welcome one of my awesome partner channels and one of my really, really good friends, Corey. Corey, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, and we are super excited to see you next week.
Oh my gosh, yes. Guys, if you don't know, I'm going to Disney in a couple of days. It's going to be like, it's not even like next week, really. It's like in like 3 days. And so I'm so excited. I think hopefully we'll hang out like a couple different days. And yeah, I know I'm going to see a couple other people, and I'm really excited to hang out with everyone. Miguel saying what's good in the hood. We'll go through and say hi to everyone after. But I would also like to welcome Walt, who so graciously wanted to come on to the show today. And how are you doing, Walt?
I'm good. How is everybody tonight? Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so happy you're here. So I know that Corey and I are annual pass holders, but then we also have Walt, who's actually not an annual pass holder. So we'll bring another sort of outlook onto this topic. But I'm going to go through and say hi to some people. Hi, Michelle. Welcome. Hi, Angela. Danny, welcome. Hi, Leanne. Let's see. Kay, welcome. Hi, Haley. Jumbo Nick. Miguel, I said hi to you. Hi, Arjons. Hey, Jeff. I think that's everyone for right now. So we really appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with us. And yes, Nick says AP squad. So if you guys are annual pass holders as well, go ahead and please put like whatever your thoughts are on the topic for tonight. Welcome, Amy. Welcome, Dougie. Welcome, LSU Mom. Hi, Archangel. Hi, Wendy. No worries. I actually just finished eating too, so I know
I haven't eaten yet.
it's always like such a weird time because for Dan it's always so much later, and like for us it's 7 o'clock, and I feel like that's right around my dinner time. So I always. What were you gonna say?
So tonight we're going to get dinner at this pizza place, literally just like right outside of where we live, and it's a lot like Blaze.
Oh, nice.
I'd say like Subway but pizza, but I'd say it's probably like twice as good as Blaze. It's really good.
I'm saying something because Blaze is good.
Yeah, I like Blaze a lot. Haley is boycotting it right now, but she can explain why. But
no, Haley, don't boycott pizza. Pizza's good. And also, Corey, you should get Haley a bag of chips too later on, because I remember. Oh, she says, ew, Blaze. Hi, Abby, welcome. And like I said, if you guys are annual pass holders, please feel free to, share your thoughts and opinions. Miguel already chimed in. He said, annual passes are great, but it's getting so expensive. And I think that's something that we will definitely talk about within the stream. Boycott pizza, yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't like do a pizza boycott, but whatever. So I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. Corey, since you just like newly became a annual pass holder, what do you think is the best thing so far that you've experienced as an annual pass holder?
So I mean, the best thing about being an annual pass holder is being able to go to the parks as often and as frequently as you want. And I mean, I've used and abused that to its fullest since I've had my passes. I mean, I've gone, a full 27 years of, well, not 27, because my first time at Disney was when I was 8. So I've gone like a full about 21 years of Disney going without being an annual pass holder, and I love it. I love being able to just say, hey, I want to go to Epcot today, and it's no skin off my back. Hey, want to go grab lunch at Jungle Skipper Canteen? Like, it's really that easy because you have the pass. And honestly, like, I catch myself thinking a lot, this is too good to be true. Like, I think to myself, this is too good to be true. Because, I mean, if you really break down the value, it really is so fantastic. Because, you got the base park ticket. The base park ticket is anywhere between like $128 and $140, depending on, I guess now they have it spread out, so peak times are more expensive. If you really break it down, like the value, I mean, speaking for myself, because I go so often now, the value is incredible. Like, I mean, we've been moved in now for a little over a month. And I'd say we probably hit up the parks about 20 to 25 times since we've been here the past, month and change. So, I mean, the value is just fantastic. And being able to go whenever you want is just, it's amazing. It's a dream come true.
Yeah, I completely agree. Walt, do you have any things that you, like?
I do.
And just
I do.
Corey looks so happy to be living in Florida. I feel like we all feel that way. Like for you guys, we're so happy that you're down there.
I'll say this about annual passes. Where I see the value in annual passes is two places: flexibility and use. And that's where you're going to get your value on annual passes. Now, for like Meg, you and I, and people that live outside of Florida who are a little bit further away, for you to get the value of your annual pass, you have to be able to use it.
Yeah.
And it's not like a one-trip use to really get your money's worth, kind of like how you do it. Several trips a year, if you can do it, you really get your money's worth. That's where the value comes in, is the frequency. And then for people that live in Florida, not only do they get the Florida resident rate, but it's the flexibility of being able to go whenever you want to go. You really, like Corey said, being able to basically go, it's a Tuesday night, let's go to Magic Kingdom tonight to go have dinner. You can do it. And that's the value in it. And being a DVC member, where we're lucky is we get a nice value with that because we get a discount off of annual passes. And it's a decent discount too. I mean, I think, for instance, I had it up here a second ago. If you're looking at the Platinum Plus is normally $9.94 for a DVC member. It's $8.49. So
oh wow,
it's a good discount. Really good. Yeah, it can be. Yeah, there's value. Absolutely. I want to be an annual pass holder.
Yeah. So I feel really lucky because I've been an annual pass holder for 3 years, not consecutively, but in total I have been for 3 years. And I have found that the 3 years that I've gone, like very similar to what Corey's saying, is I have been able, and Walt, exactly what you said, I've been very flexible in being able to sort of pop down there for like a weekend and use my pass. And to buy a one-day ticket now is just really insanely expensive. I think a one-day park hopper ticket is like $185 or something. And then now, like Corey mentioned, they have like the peak days and then off-peak times. And so let's just, for instance, say that, for the most part, families tend to go during the holiday breaks, and welcome, Alana, that like those are going to be peak times. You're going to be paying way more to have your family go. And I know we could talk about it a little bit in the future in the stream. I know some of us did some of the math for, when is it appropriate for you to buy an annual pass? But having one, for me, like there are so many benefits and I love having one. Corey was talking about going out to dinner. And so next week, Corey, me, Haley, and one of their other friends from Boston, we're going to go out to dinner. And they released it the other day. Some of the restaurants in Walt Disney World are having a special 20% off discount for annual pass holders. And so one of them just so happened to be the one that we're going to. And I was like, this is amazing. And then they have been giving annual passes, like annual pass holders, extra special like events to go to. They have the VIP pass holder things. They have basically extra magic hours for annual pass holders where it's only annual pass holders in the park. We get a 20% off discount on merchandise. We get normally a 10% off discount on food, beverages, well, besides alcohol, I think. But we get a 10% off of like the restaurants. We get so many discounts. And if you're going a lot, like Walt was saying, if you can make an annual pass work, yes, Miguel is saying free parking. And that's a big thing too, because if you're going to the park for 4 days, that's already $100 in parking, like just to park your car there. And that's crazy. Yeah. For me, I don't normally stay on property. So like having the free parking is essential to us. Chris says 20% off pins. Yep. And we definitely take advantage of that. I just feel like there are so many advantages if you can make it work. I'm going to go ahead and read, let's see what Dougie said. The thing that would convince me on an annual pass is the exclusive stuff. I'm DVC too, so get a lot of the same perks, but the exclusive pass holder merch, yes, please. Wow, I didn't even think about that, but yes, definitely we get like for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, for the Very Merry Christmas Party, we get like special merchandise. And I don't know, Walt, if you want to talk a little bit more about what you might get with DVC. I'm not as familiar with it, but go ahead if you want to talk about that.
Well, there are a lot of perks that are the same in that respect. Like you get a 20% discount on merchandise and food, which is really nice. Yeah. But the only time you can really get any kind of special merchandise is if they do a Moonlight Magic, which is a DVC Moonlight Magic. So Dougie's right. You guys will always have those events where you'll have the special annual pass holder merchandise. Like over at Epcot, they had the cutting board this year. I think it was. If you I think if you went 4 times and you were an annual pass holder, you got the cutting board, if I'm not mistaken. You don't get that as a DVC member. So where we do have some similar perks as a DVC member, an annual pass holder really gets additional perks, which is nice. I mean, I think that should be one of the incentives that you should get for being an annual pass holder. And I think it's another reason to do it if you're able to do it, for sure.
Oh, welcome, Yvette. It's so nice to see you in here. And I don't know, Yvette, let us know if you're an annual pass holder too. I know so many of us who can like sort of make it down to the parks quite often, we tend to be annual pass holders because it just makes more financial sense. So I do think, I think it was Leanne. Leanne said Disney is good to its pass holders, and I feel like they kind of have to be in a sense. But in another aspect, there are so many of them too. Like there are so many people that are annual pass holders now. And then we also get our own annual pass holder line to enter the park, which sometimes I fully take advantage of. Sometimes the annual pass holder line is longer than the normal line. So Yvette says I'm an AP, but I go on average 5 to 6 times a year, which is like a pretty good amount. So you definitely get your money's worth. I feel like, so basically if you go 2 times for like 4 days, you're getting your money's worth out of your annual pass holder. And even, I know a lot of people do this. They have one person in their family buy an annual pass, and then so they get the free parking, they get the discounts on merchandise, food, whatnot, and then everyone else just buys like normal park tickets so that they get the advantages, but they don't have to pay as much. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good thing to have. But Corey, do you have any other things that you've like learned about annual pass holders since moving down there? It's like going to the park so often now.
So I think the merchandise thing is huge, especially for me. I buy pins like weekly. Like every time there's a release, I'm buying at least 1 pin, and usually if it's a cool pin, I'll buy 2, which is sometimes they cap you out and say like 2 pins per person, and I'll get 2 just because like I'm thinking in my head someone's gonna want one if it's cool. So like I buy a lot of pins, and like we just buy a lot of stuff at Disney in general, and that 20% off, like that racks up pretty quick savings.
Absolutely.
Dining too, like, oh man, like, so if you're there on vacation for like a week, you're probably, I'd say most people are probably going to eat on property. I'd say like 90% of the time. And that 10% discount is huge. That adds up too, especially like if you're going to Garden Grill, if you're going to character dining experiences, if you're going to, anything in the World Showcase at like a $25, $30 entree price point, that 10% off racks up some pretty quick savings. Also, yeah, for sure. I almost regret not getting an annual pass sooner. I kind of wish I did. But now I'm having a whole different internal regret not getting Tables in Wonderland sooner.
I was just getting ready to say that. You can add that as an add-on to your 20%, your 10% dining discount. It's actually something you can double up with. I agree.
Yep. And so that's, you have the 10% for the annual pass, but if you buy a Tables in Wonderland card, which only one of you needs. If one person has that card, you can bring up to 9 other people, and they're all getting the discount too. That's an additional 20% off. So now you're sitting at 30%. And like Meg just said, they have that deal going on with select restaurants getting 20% off. If you have Tables in Wonderland and annual pass, and you go to one of those select restaurants during these promotion times, your meal's like half off.
That's amazing.
You go to a place that would have normally racked up like $100 bill. It's a $50 bill now. It's like the savings are ridiculous,
Just be careful, because you don't know how long Disney will allow that to happen.
Right. Yeah, that's what I think. I walk around, I'm just like, this is too good to be true. The savings are incredible. The amount of value is insane.
Chris is saying the discounts add up very quickly. And yes, as Corey was just mentioning, they do add up very quickly. And Amy said, I also like the park hopping feature of the pass. So if you guys don't know, annual passes do allow you to park hop. You can go to any park. You can go to all 4 Walt Disney World parks. You cannot attend the water parks if you don't have the Platinum Plus pass. But if you do buy that one, that also includes several other things. Corey and I just have the Platinum Pass, so that just includes the 4 theme parks, not the water parks.
But it also includes PhotoPass.
Oh my gosh, Walt, that is such another huge thing. I was going to talk about that. That's a huge one.
PhotoPass is massive savings, right?
Yeah.
I mean, PhotoPass for me as a non-pass, non-annual pass, it's like $120, $130 each trip.
It's $200 a trip.
That's what it, yeah, $199. You're right. I think it's $199. It's expensive, but you get that. It's part of your annual pass. It's great.
And you get free downloads. I can't even tell you how many pictures I have now. I have probably like 1,000 pictures just from like the last 2 years of me at Disney. So you get all the special magic shots. You get the shots from the special events. You get all the ride photos. So many PhotoPass opportunities. If you have an annual pass, you should take advantage of that. Yvette says, I have the Platinum Plus. I don't know if it's worth it. This is the first year with it. We'll see. So yeah, for me, I definitely wouldn't go to the water parks as often as I would go to the regular theme parks. So I'm not sure if it would make sense for me. But then I also want to like sort of tag in that you also get discounts on like the special events. So like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. I'm not sure if you get them on like the after hours. I don't know if someone could like let me know.
Matt, can I just chime in one thing too? The other thing I would say about annual pass holders, and Corey, I'm sure if you don't mind helping me with this, is annual pass is all about research. Do your research on what annual pass is going to be best for your family, because what might be good for one family may not be good for another. If you're a water park family, maybe the Platinum Plus is the way you want to go. But if you're not, like for me, we don't go to the water park, so that wouldn't be a good idea for us. We're wasting money. So I think that's important. Really do your research on annual passes if you're thinking about it, and take a step back and make sure that it's right for you. Are you going often enough that it's going to pay for itself?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, to piggyback on what you just said, I'm not a water park person either, and either is Haley, really. So, like, to get those add-ons, it isn't worth it for us. Even though, like, the additional price, I think, is, like, if you did 2 days at the water park and you did do that add-on, it would pay itself off. However, like, we might not even end up going to the water parks at all in a year. So it wouldn't make sense for us. And then also, like, the no blockout dates, for us, we really wanted to like go on Christmas. We really wanted to make sure we were able to go to all the special events. But if that's not important to you, the days that are going to get blocked out are going to be the busiest days of the year. It's going to be the most jam-packed days of the year, the most shoulder-to-shoulder days, the longest wait times. And if you're not like super eager to make sure you're able to go to like every special event, then you might not even need the no block updates pass, and that would be some savings as well.
Yeah, I think Disney World Adventures, I think maybe Chris might have like one of the special Florida ones where they have the blockout dates. I know for me, when I'm going to mention the other park, when I was a Universal Studios annual pass holder, and I was for a very long time because I would go to Universal way more than I went to Disney when I was a kid. And that's just what I did. And we had the blockout dates, and oh my gosh, was that a pain. It was such a pain to try and schedule our trip around those days. And I feel really blessed that I don't have the blockout dates for my pass, because I am not restricted. And I don't, like, if it makes sense for you guys financially to, I know it's not even a possibility for me. It's not an option, even for like people who don't live in Florida. But like Corey, if you didn't have the blackout dates, and you know, if you did have the blackout dates, you wouldn't be able to go during those busy times or during the holidays where you might want to go. And sometimes I think, okay, yeah, he said, yes, we have the gold one. So that's like a completely different experience too. I mean, I think it'd be really, oh, it only has a couple blackout dates. Okay, well, that's not too bad. And welcome our Disney Adventures. Wait, I always try and I always fail, but I tried. So that's definitely a different experience to have the blackout dates. I'm trying, let's see. Amy says, I had the plus part one time, but it was when Disney Quest, Pleasure Island was open. I'm not a water park person, maybe one trip with my family. Yeah, I'm definitely not as much of a water park person. I've been to like one water park ever in my life, but I tend to like cram all my time into the parks and I never regret it ever. So I just think that it's like amazing to be able to go when I want. I feel like, I don't know how you feel, Walt, and you could like correct me. When I wasn't an annual pass holder, and oh, Corey, you could chime in too. And I would buy my ticket. Say I went for 3 days and I had a park hopper ticket. I would feel so guilty if I only made it to 2 parks because I'd be like, I need to get my money's worth. I need to spend the entire day there. I cannot waste my money. So I feel like I'm more relaxed at the park for being an annual pass holder. I'm like, okay, it's already paid for. I'm not wasting money on this. Like I could stroll. I feel much more relaxed.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Corey. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
I was just going to say, yeah, absolutely. As someone who's not an annual pass holder, when you take these trips, well, part of it for us is because, first off, we're only there for a limited amount of time. We usually go 1 trip a year. That's it. We don't do several trips. Not yet. We're working on it. But you're right. You feel like I got to get as much in as I can because, you spent all this money on this trip and you want to make sure you get your money's worth. I totally understand that. Where too, if you had an annual pass and you're going more than once a year, even if it's more times but for less days, you're more relaxed because I'm coming back. I'm going to be here again. I don't have to cram it all in that first trip to try to get my money's worth. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of situations on our vacations because we've been like just over the past few years, we've been on a huge number of vacations. I'd say about 10. On just regular park tickets or park hopper tickets. And I've constantly combated the feeling of, I need to rope drop. I need extra magic hours at this park. I need to make sure I find myself rope dropping extra magic hours at Hollywood Studios because they open an hour earlier and then staying at Magic Kingdom till 2 a.m., because that's where their extra magic comes. And I just feel like I almost need to because I paid for that specifically, but that experience. And there were times where I think it would have been much better to just be like, hey, let's head back now. Let's take it easy. We have another day tomorrow. Let's head back. But I don't do it. And I just keep going because I'm like, I need to get the most for my money. And with the annual pass, it's so much different. Like I said, we can just be like, hey, let's go grab lunch in Epcot and then we'll go home. Or maybe we'll go grab lunch and then we'll jump on one ride and then go home. Or there's been times where we've just literally gone to Epcot, did a couple laps around the showcase, and then went home. And it was fine. It was great. It was wonderful. But we didn't feel the pressure to get the most out of our money because we know we have the whole year to do that.
Right. For sure. Now let me ask this question. As annual pass holders and anyone else in the chat who can chime in on this, I'm not sure why Disney doesn't do this for everybody, but in Florida, if you're an annual pass holder, you can make payments. They have payment plans.
Yes.
I wonder why but not if you're out of state. You have to pay it all up front. See, if we were able to make payments, I would definitely be an annual pass holder. Having to come up with that $700, $800, $900 all at once, times 2, maybe times 4, that's a lot of money to come up with. And I wonder why they don't let those outside of the state of Florida do payment plans.
So the way I understand it is, yes, you're right. So if you're a Florida resident on a Florida resident pass, you can pay monthly. And I did the math, and that's with blackout dates. But I did the math, and it'd be like $90 a month for me and Haley's ticket, which is crazy good. But the way I understand it is, if you have that Florida resident pass and you're paying monthly, and you just stop paying, it's just like, okay, whatever. And then your pass is just shut off until you pay what you owe.
Right.
And I mean, that's fine. But if they were able to, if you were, let's say, able to pay monthly on like the Platinum Pass or the Platinum Plus Pass, you could say, you know, feasibly, yeah, we want the Platinum Plus Pass, Disney. Hook us up with that monthly payment. And then what happens is you get the pass and you go on your vacation, and then maybe you plan another vacation next month and you go on that one, and then you're not going for the rest of the year. So you just say, I'm not going to pay anymore. And you just got like a ton of days at Disney for like just 2 months worth of paying for your pass. And they can't do anything about it. If you're a Florida resident, you got your pass and you just like stop paying for it, your pass gets shut off, but that's it. Like, you know, you just can't go until you pay your due. But if you're out of state and you get the good pass and you just go on 2 like big vacations and then stop paying, you just got Disney for a lot of cheddar.
I guess that makes sense. I guess I can see that, but I can see people that live in the state doing that as well. I mean, if you live in Miami, you're probably not going to Disney very often as much as other people may do it. I mean, you know, Miami's a long way from Orlando, you know, like Pensacola. If you live in Pensacola on the Panhandle, you may not too. But I wish they did that for everybody. It would definitely make it better.
So I just want to quickly, like, I know this isn't Disney, but Yvette quickly asked about Universal annual passes, and I do know that they are having a deal right now where if you buy the annual pass, depending on which level, you either get 3 extra months or 6 extra months. So if you're considering buying one, I would probably suggest doing it now. I think the deal ends in March. So if you're going anytime within there, you get an extra 6 months or an extra 3 months based on the level of what you're doing. I think it's totally worth it. I'm so waiting for them to open the Nintendo section because I love Nintendo almost as much as I love Disney. But let's move back to the Disney. I just wanted to quickly answer her question. Haley says they have a good deal going on right now for Universal passes. Yes, definitely.
Me and Haley just got a Nintendo Switch. We're having so much fun.
Oh, you guys got Super Smash, right?
So yeah, the only game we bought first was Super Smash, but we just picked up Breath of the Wind today because everyone says it's like the best game ever created.
Oh my
So we're gonna take turns playing that tonight.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh my gosh. I was gonna play my Lego games after this. So I'm so happy I'm not the only one that's spending their Saturday night here and then playing games.
Do you have a Switch?
I don't have a Switch. I wish I did. I have like literally every other Nintendo console. I have every other one besides a Switch.
Yeah, Haley's into it more than me. Like, I'm asleep in bed and I hear like the Smash fighters going at it, and I just know she booted it on and is playing.
Oh my gosh, Haley, if I didn't love you before, I love you even more now. Haley and I are just secretly soulmates. We just are meant to be together. Everyone's agreeing. They're saying Nintendo is the best. Yes.
Nintendo is great. I love Nintendo. I won't be playing afterwards. I'll be watching football, but.
So another cool thing, I don't know if this is actually going to apply, but I think it would be awesome if it did. Kingdom Hearts will be for sale at Disney Springs. If you're an annual pass holder, can you get 20% off Kingdom Hearts? Because you can't do that anywhere else. You're paying full price everywhere else for sure. But if you're an annual pass holder, could you possibly get that 20% off? I
don't know. Is that considered? That's a good question because that's a great deal if you can do that. I mean, you can get a $70, $80 game and you can get 20% off of that. That's fantastic if you can do that.
Yeah.
That's a great question, Corey. You ought to ask, like, I don't know where they would sell it out down there, though, in Disney Springs.
So I can probably find this out this week. There's they have a Kingdom Hearts like storefront set up right now. It's temporary, but there you can pre-order the game, and then when the game comes out, it's still going to be there. Right now, it's like a demo stadium, so like people can go in and wait in line, like almost like an attraction, to do a 30-minute demo of the game. And
I heard
what they're going to do once the game actually comes out is like just open up shop and sell it. And then you can also, if you pre-ordered it there, you can pick it up there. But they're going to sell it, and the merch is the pin that's coming out with it too, and like some figures. But if you can apply your AP discount to that, that's going to be like the best deal in the world for that game.
Yeah, I know they just had a special event down at Disney Springs for Kingdom Hearts. And if I'm not mistaken, that pop-up store is where the Disney Corner store used to be. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. The Disney Corner store where they had like lots of kid stuff. Yeah,
right.
My little nephew loved that store.
So Dougie says you are not meant to get a discount on media, CDs, DVDs, games, etc., but lots of cast members forget that. Huh. And the cash registers don't stop it going through.
Interesting.
I mean, Oh, thanks, Noah. Yeah, so maybe whenever Nintendo, like the Nintendo Land finally opens, all of us will get to go. I know that we have way more like other things opening in terms of like theme park news before that. We don't even know. My speculation was that it was going to take over the kids area in Universal Studios, but I think now it's going to be an entirely separate park. I don't know what you guys have heard. But that was my impression of the latest news that I found, which I think it deserves its own park. I don't think you can really cram it into that little section. But if I feel like once that opens, I'm going to want to be an annual pass holder for Universal again. Yes, let's all go together, Yvette.
I'll say this about Nintendo World. I've heard both rumors. I know that Universal bought like 500 acres the beginning of last year down in that area. But Nintendo World, I don't know that. Do you think they have enough content that they could make it its own park?
Oh my God, yeah.
A large land like Star Wars Land, like Galaxy's Edge, that's gigantic. Yeah, that I could see for Nintendo World. But do you think they have enough to make a full park?
Oh my gosh, of course. Yes, there's so many Nintendo things. We have Pokemon. I know that they're going to have some sort of Mario Kart ride. I've heard Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, I think they're going to have like a Hyrule section for Zelda. I heard that it's going to be like a tiered section. So like the levels for Mario. I heard that there's going to be a Yoshi ride. But there definitely is enough material. There's so much stuff for Nintendo. Oh my gosh, I would die if there was an entire park just of Nintendo.
I would I don't really like Universal's not something that really I like it. But it's not something that I would care to go to over Disney. But I don't know anything about the Nintendo park. I'm completely oblivious to it. I've heard a little bit about it, but this right here is the most I've ever heard about it. I want to go. I 100% would want to go. That would make me consider getting annual passes to that park for sure.
Yeah, I know. For me, I've always been a really huge Nintendo fan. So when they announced it, 2.5 years ago, I was screaming because I was so excited. But I also thought that they would be making more progress on it in Orlando. I know that they came out with some sort of introductory video announcing it for Tokyo. So we'll see sort of how that progress goes in Tokyo. I think it's supposed to open in 2020, and I think it's supposed to open in Orlando in 2021. Welcome, Movie Mania Nick. I don't know sort of what the schedule is now. I feel like if they're going to build an entirely new park, then it's going to be longer than a couple of years. So I know that they're going to put one in Hollywood, they're going to put one in Orlando, and then in Tokyo. So we're going to have a lot of different things. And then we're also talking about Pokemon too. Pokemon is Nintendo.
Oh, Nintendo. Yeah.
I would love to see Pokemon stuff in the park. Oh my gosh.
Well, and what this will be good for is us as consumers. Because this will put Disney on notice that they need to then up their game again on top of what they're already doing, because they've upped their game with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and this is Universal's answer to Galaxy's Edge is Nintendo World. Disney will have to answer back with something else. I still wish to this day that Disney had taken the offer to do Harry Potter. I can only imagine what Disney would have done with Harry Potter.
I mean, I think Universal did an incredible job. I have been very lucky to be able to see Hogsmeade several times, and I've been in Diagon Alley as well. And the theming is so incredible. Hey, Steve, no worries. I know that football's not important to me. I'm sorry. People like football. Hockey is my sport. I watch 2 football games a year. So I know that football playoffs are going on, and that's important. But Steve, we're just talking about, actually, we sort of segued into Universal, ironically, because Yvette asked about annual passes for Universal, and we were just sort of talking about the different things. But I do think, especially for annual pass holders for Disney coming up in the next couple of years, we're going to be able to have so many new opportunities. And I think just the introduction of this year to these special like morning or evening times, like almost extra magic hours, but for annual pass holders, I think that's going to expand into the next couple of years. And I know, Walt, going back to like our initial topic, we did talk a little bit about like the little gifts that you get throughout the year, and they have been giving out magnets. In the past, I've gotten like glasses, like actual glass, like glasses that I could drink out of, and that were etched with like Mickey that had said annual pass holder on it. It was beautiful. I didn't have a chance to pick up the cutting board this year. I didn't want to like force myself to go to Epcot 4 days out of 5 days that I was there. And I'm trying to think about what else I've gotten. I've gotten these really nice lithograph prints from Flower and Garden. You get so many nice things as a perk. And I'm sure Arjons could chime in too, because Arjons, I feel like you've probably been an annual pass holder way longer than all of us. And he knows the best, right? He's like, I feel like he's at the park almost as much as Corey.
I have a question. I wonder why, and I think Abby said this earlier in the chat, that she wished that more annual pass holder merchandise was available online and like the Disney Parks website and stuff like that. And I tend to agree with that with a lot of stuff, not as an annual pass holder, just stuff in general. A lot of stuff is what they call in-store only, which basically means in the park. You can only get it in the park. So I wish that, I agree with her, that I wish they would provide more of that stuff on the Disney Parks app or online, that you could get that merchandise. As annual pass holders, don't you wish you could be able to get that as well, or do they offer it?
So I know that for specific merchandise, they only offer it in the park because it's very limited and they want people to come to the park to get it. I don't know, Corey, if you have any input. For me, some of the things have been offered online, or like Shop Disney. Wow, Ardon says, actually, I've only been an AP for a little over 2 years. Wow, that blows my mind. Yeah, Jeff said they want you in the park. That's my explanation. If you're going into the park, you're going to buy more stuff, and they keep it sort of in the same area. And I don't know, Corey, do you have anything to say on that?
So from a business standpoint, I get it. And I'll explain that. And I'm not alone here, but I can say I personally planned a Disney trip before. Now, I was going to go one way or another, but the dates I chose to go were based on merchandise that was being released at that time. So I literally said, this is the week I'm going, and the reason I'm going this week and not that week is because of these pin releases. And I tend to notice that they release the coolest, best pins, in my opinion, when the parks are dead. So like December was a very busy month, but the releases were like not as exciting, I guess. January is a historically not busy month, but the releases are ridiculously good. Like all month, the releases are so good.
Those console pins, like I need to get one because I need everything in that series. That Little Mermaid console pin. Oh my gosh.
The console pins, the record vinyls, the magic badges of honor, like they're all so good. And like if I wasn't living here and I had the time available and I had to pick, like, do I book in December, January, or February, I would be coming to Disney right now because of the releases.
That's a really good point.
But I guess I look at it from the other side of that. For me, if I'm going to Disney, I'm going to Disney no matter what. I'm going to go. Yes, you're going for a specific time for a specific merchandise, but how many other people do that, I wonder? I guess that's my question is because if that merchandise was available to you online, those pins, you would still go to Disney. Okay, you wouldn't go that specific time, but you'd still go.
Right.
So that's where I think they, as a business side, I see it where I think it would be more open. They'd sell more merchandise if they did it that way, because then more people would have access to it. Like Melissa's had a couple of the dresses she saw in the dress shop that she wanted to get. We never got them because they weren't available. We would only get them at the parks. So that's how I see it. I totally get what you're saying, Corey, and that makes a lot of sense. But I just think they'd sell more merchandise if they allowed it online.
I think also sometimes I've been able to get like almost glitches in the system where I have been able to get park exclusive items like on the Shop Disney like app, well, like the Shop Disney Parks app. So I've been able to get items that are mostly parks exclusives, and I've just been, like, all of a sudden it was like you could buy it online, and then like the next day it was like in store only. So sometimes I check on there just in case it's on there, or sometimes they like have a little bit on Shop Disney. It really depends, I think, on the release as well. And then I don't know, I feel like sometimes I just get really lucky when I'm looking for something and it pops up, or I just happen to be in the park during those times. Like, I don't plan my trips around releases, but I could definitely see why they want people to come into the park to get it, because not only are they getting people to attend the park, but then they might get people to buy more stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the Bitely say, I had APs for years in college. They went to UCF. I never got any special merch. I never knew about it if they had those things in the 90s. I don't know if they did.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's a good question.
Yeah.
A lot of that new stuff, they've really, really done well with the incentives on both ends, whether it's annual passes or DVC. They've really picked up their game, because when we first became DVC members, they didn't have Moonlight Magic and they didn't have stuff like that. So I think they've really upped their game when it comes to perks for the special people.
Yeah, I don't think they did have,
that's something I really want to do is Moonlight Magic, because you guys get those special characters, and I wish we got that as annual pass holders. It's just, oh my gosh, I want to meet those characters.
Yeah, they were pretty cool.
Corey, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's fine. I don't think they did have AP exclusive merch in the 90s, though. I don't think they did. I don't remember ever seeing any of it. Like even like in the early 2000s, I don't remember seeing like AP exclusive pins or AP exclusive. And that's another thing too. Pins weren't like, well, they were available. Like Disney made like some little pins, and there might be like a few different, like at the checkout counter. Pins, like Disney pin trading wasn't even a thing till 1998.
Yeah.
There definitely wasn't any like annual pass exclusive pins until like, I'd say at least like 06, 07, around that time frame is probably when they started that. And then for like sweaters or anything like that, because then like, yeah, spirit jerseys weren't even a thing back then either.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, and I know that like the annual pass holder pins are like, they're a really like, I don't know, what's the sought after item. Like people really want them now.
Yeah. Their merchandise, they so up their game on merchandise over the last 2 to 3 years. The merchandise at Disney has gotten cooler, I guess is the way to say it. They have some really cool shirts, like you said, the spirit jerseys, so much really nice stuff now that they never used to have before. They've really upped their game with their merchandise. Absolutely.
I do have to say though, as someone, so I was an annual pass holder back in 2015. And so comparing it now to what I got back then, so we get a lot of extra perks now that I didn't get back in 2015, but I felt like the items that I was getting sort of as an incentive. So if I went to Flower and Garden and I could show my annual pass and my license or whatever, then I'd get nicer items, like nicer memorabilia things. I feel like because there are so many annual pass holders now, they're giving us these magnets. I actually have one right here. Just get it. So this is one from the Flower and Garden Festival this year. They had 2 separate ones.
I want the Goofy.
I was lucky enough to be able to get both Mickey and Minnie from this year because I went during the 2 ranges of dates that I needed to get them. But I do feel like, I mean, I'd much rather have a cutting board or glasses than a magnet. You know what I mean? But I just feel like it's a lot cheaper for them to produce and then to give us glasses or like nicer prints. I really love I got this really wonderful Donald print from the Flower and Garden Festival several years ago, and I love that print, but I don't know how, I mean, it's a nice perk, but definitely compared to some of the other items that I've received, this is not the best gift to get. I mean, the cutting board seemed okay. Corey, did you get the cutting board?
Yes, I did. And I do understand what you're saying, even though I wasn't an annual pass holder, like from like a pins perspective. I remember back like in 2014, 2015 at Flower and Garden specifically, the annual pass holder pin that they released for that event was like the best pin available. And over like the past year, I've noticed that like it was not like, in my opinion, this is all opinion based, I guess, right? But it wasn't the coolest pin available. Like the coolest pin available were just the LEs that were available to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like in terms of pins specifically, because I don't tend to buy, I don't know about you, Corey, I don't tend to buy like the pass holder shirts for like the special events or whatnot, but I do buy the special event pins that are exclusive to pass holders. And I really love those pins. I feel like throughout the years, they've definitely gotten better. The quality, the designs, I've always thought their pins were nice, but I just feel like because pin trading has also become like more explosive, I would say, like it's just more popular now. And so they have more people, more of a market to sell to. So I feel like they're making pins a little bit nicer. Yeah.
I do have another question about annual pass for you and Corey and anybody in the chat. Do you get a renewal discount?
Yes, 15% you get a renewal discount. So that's actually why I renewed my pass this year.
And that's what I was going to ask you.
I had like with that discount, I was still paying. If I went to the park twice for 3 days, I was going to pay less with my annual pass than I would for the tickets. Oh gosh.
Let me ask you though, did you lose your discount? Because you said you've been a pass holder for 3 years, but not consecutively. Did you lose the discount when
I did. You get a specific window of time. I think it's a month. You could renew up to 60 days before your pass expires, which might be smart for some people because they do have, it's like every year they've been increasing their prices. So I was lucky because right when my annual pass was expiring, it was right before the prices got increased again. So I actually bought it probably, it was $100 or $150 less than what it would have been if I had waited another week. But you do get, I think, 60 days before your pass expires and a month, so like 30 days after your pass expires to renew it, when they'll give you the discount. If you wait longer than that, they will not give you the discount.
Okay. Yeah, because I know with DVC, I'm sure it's the same discount, but yeah, we get it as well. I've looked into it before. So somebody asked in the chat, they said, I think it was Frank, he said, is there any annual pass with equal perks to the Premier Pass? Not quite sure I understand, but I wanted to ask you two as pass holders.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't know if there's because I'm not a Florida resident, so I can only buy the Platinum Pass or the Platinum Plus Pass. But as a Florida resident, you have a few more options to choose from. Corey, do they still have the Epcot After 4 pass?
Yes.
Okay, so they have that.
Don't they?
So last I checked, they don't. And
okay.
They did.
Sorry.
No, because they did so last time I checked in October, they did.
Okay.
And then we moved here and I checked because we wanted to suggest that to Haley's sister to get Epcot After 4 so that she could come hang out in Epcot with us. And it was like a really good deal. It was like Epcot After 4 with some blockout dates, but you could go pretty much every day of the year after 4. And it was like $400 and something, which is really good.
Yeah.
But when we went to check after we moved, they had discontinued it. So I'll correct myself. There should be people right now with that pass, but if you try to go get it now, you won't be able to.
Do they still have? Didn't they also have an annual pass that was just for weekdays where you couldn't go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
Yeah, they used to have a ton of options. Like when I looked last year, like they had like 7 different options, and then when I looked like this month, there was like 3.
Interesting.
Oh, wow. So I saw, I think Abby said it. She said that I think the best time to get an AP is when you're already on vacation, when you just upgrade your ticket. So that's a whole nother thing that you could do is if you have already bought your ticket and you're using the ticket, you're going through your vacation, you can still upgrade your ticket to an annual pass and just pay the difference. So at least if you do it by your last day. So I think like your second to last day, you have time to change or upgrade your ticket to an annual pass where you are only paying the difference. So say you're going for 4 days, you're doing a park hopper, it's like $450 to do a park hopper 4-day ticket, or it might be even a little bit more. So then your pass is basically halfway paid for. You already have your ticket paid for if you upgrade it. You just have to pay a little bit extra.
Now let me ask you this, because the bike league said in the comments, they said, does anybody know if you're a pass holder, one person is, one person isn't, and you go in the pass holder line to get entrance, can the person that isn't come with you? Is it a party thing or is it a person thing? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so for me, I don't think that it would really make a difference. I think if you're going in and someone says something to you, that's like really a horrible thing to say, especially if one of you is a pass holder. For sometimes if I'm with someone and they don't have an annual pass, sometimes they just go in the regular line, but I think you should be totally okay just bringing them into the line. And welcome, Mike. And Kenny says, isn't there a ticket that is good for both Walt Disney World and Disneyland? Yes. And maybe that's what I was confusing it with. I think it is called the Premier Pass, that you do get annual passes for Disneyland and Walt Disney World, but it's like $1,500. If one day I could afford that, oh my gosh, like that would be amazing. But right now I can't. And I hope one day that I can. Amy Scott says, I have done that before and upgraded. That's awesome. And welcome, Jason. I think this is your first time here. So I'm so happy that we have some new faces here to discuss this. And someone was asking before, I know this is like really behind. I think it was Movie Mania Nick. He might have already left. But if anyone else is interested or if he's still here, he was asking about going in the beginning or the middle of March and which one is better. For me, I have been both times in the beginning or the middle of March. Try to stay away from the middle of March because that is when a lot of schools or colleges have their spring break. Yes. And if you go in the first week, it's so much less. Well, you should know. You do these videos on every month, so you could talk about it.
Yeah, I totally agree. March and April were really tricky months when it comes to going because of Easter and spring break vacations. Easter is going to depend on the holiday. Sometimes it can fall in March, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the times it doesn't. I agree, Meg. If you're going to go in March, stick to the early part of March. It'll be a lot quieter. The end of March, it can really get busy because you're right. Spring break and Easter vacations are starting. And that's probably Disney's second most busy time other than Christmas week is spring break weeks.
Yeah, for sure. And I think as annual pass holders, we have a little bit more flexibility to sort of sometimes if I see a park is more crowded than another, I'm like, okay, well, my fast passes are for here, but I may just, drift on to another park because I'm not going to wait in these lines or I'm going to do something else. And I don't know, I feel like I have a little bit more flexibility than someone who might have every single thing of their trip planned. So I feel very blessed to have that. Like sometimes my mom is also an annual pass holder and we go to the parks together and I'll just say, do you once I finish my fast passes for the day at one park, I'm like, do you want to see what's at another park just to see, what's going on over in like Epcot? And she goes, sure. Cases do not go during spring break. It is super duper busy. Yeah, it is very, very busy.
Corey, have you seen it yet for spring break? Well, I guess not. I don't know if you've been down there before.
We have gone every spring break since I got out of the Navy, just because because I've been in school and that's been the most convenient time for us.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it is busy. It is definitely busy. And then also during spring break, I've noticed is like when all like the cheer squads are out too.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
yeah.
Like giant groups of like middle school kids and stuff, like
Yes.
all together with their shirts. And it gets crazy, you know, and if you get stuck behind one of those groups, I'm sorry, you know, you're gonna be waiting for a while. But
yeah, that's true.
I comparative to like being here for Christmas, I'd say Christmas was definitely the craziest time. I keep telling this story. I've seen things at Disney during Christmas that I thought I'd never see. I saw a guy run behind a quick service building to use the restroom, and there was no restroom there. Just
oh my gosh.
Crazy things.
What?
Crazy things happen at maximum capacity.
Yep. I remember Haley told us that. She's like, we just saw this guy go to the bathroom.
There are bathrooms everywhere down there.
Yeah. It was near it was at that quick service stand that used to be like a McDonald's fry cart like 20 years ago. Right as you pass the exit to Pirates and you're starting to walk towards Frontierland, that cart, and I was walking to the bathroom at Pirates when I saw this happen, and there was no line. Like I just walked into the bathroom and used it, but I saw him run behind the quick service, and he was like climbing up on the rocks, and I said to myself, I looked over at Haley, I'm like, he's about to go to the bathroom.
Oh my
and then he did.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I had a friend of mine that was going to go for spring break this year, and he asked me, he said, you know, we want to go for spring break. And I was like, please don't. Because it was his first trip. He was taking his son for the first time. And I was like, you guys really want to have a great experience. Can you go in May? And they did. They went in May, and they had a great trip. I said, go the first week of May if you can. So.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Jeff. Jeff also has wonderful live streams if you guys want to check out Dole Whip Dad. I know that some of you sound a little bit discouraged by going in March. I have been in March several times, and I think if you're going in with a plan, it's not as bad as what you're thinking. For me, I have had great success. When I was down there this past March, one day I got 3 fast passes for Flight of Passage without having one prior to getting in the park. So it's possible to do great things in the park. Mike is saying May is a great time to go. Some of our best trips have been in the month of May, and I also went in May this year, and that was a really wonderful trip as well. It's definitely warmer than it is in March, and I have a hard time in the heat sometimes. And so if you guys like, I avoid the summer at all costs because I don't want to go in the summer when it's like a bajillion degrees out. But I really enjoyed May because you still have the Flower and Garden Festival going on, which is one of my favorite things. And yeah, it's a great time. Not as bad for the crowds. Yeah.
And one thing I will say about the busiest times of year, even if you are going the busiest times of year, you shouldn't get too discouraged because during those times you have the best extra magic hours. Those are the times where like they keep like there were times during the Christmas season and then even the spring break season, like they'll have Epcot open till 11:30 and they'll have Magic Kingdom open till 3.
Yeah.
And then they'll open Animal Kingdom in Hollywood an hour early. And honestly, like, I mean, and I complained about doing this, but if you did rope drop and extra magic at night, those 2 little intervals of time, you're going to get so much stuff done. Like the amount of stuff you can get done in a early morning hour during extra magic, and then at night, in that like 3 hours, let the park still open at Magic Kingdom and stuff during busy times, you can do like so much.
We did that on our last trip. We rope dropped Magic Kingdom, and we started in Adventureland, and we got Jungle Cruise, Pirates, Splash Mountain, and Big Thunder Mountain done within an hour with no fast passes.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
And then the next one in line was Haunted Mansion, and we had to wait 15 minutes. But if you rope drop correctly and you really plan it, you can get a lot done. You're right, Corey. I mean, those extra magic hours can really, really be a plus.
People also tend to go either to Fantasyland or to Tomorrowland. No one really goes to Frontierland or Adventureland. I know what I'm going to try to do on my trip in a couple days, what I'm going to be doing. I was lucky enough to snag one of those 8:05 early morning reservation times when the park opens at 9. And so I'm hoping to, I've never eaten at Be Our Guest for breakfast. I'm going to try and eat breakfast.
It's good.
Quickly enough where I can hopefully be out of there by 8:40, 8:45, where I could just sort of sneak over to Seven Dwarfs, or even a little bit. I know Arjon still hasn't been on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. We really need to get him on there. I don't know how it's possible he hasn't been on it. But it is that time, guys. It's 8 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and let Walt, do you want to do any shout outs or do any plugs?
Well, shout out to you and Corey for allowing me to come on. I always appreciate it very much. Always honored to be on here with you guys. You did great tonight. A lot of people watching. I'm very, very happy for both of you. Make sure you check out their channels, folks. They have great channels. They do wonderful pin unboxings and stuff like that. I think it's fantastic. And just for me, we do live streams Tuesdays and Thursday nights, talk about all kinds of different stuff on Tuesdays. Thursdays is normally Disney-centric, and we post videos online as well. So if you want to check us out, please do. We'd love for you to do so.
Yeah, and Walt and Corey's channels are in the description. And also, I would just like to give a big shout out to our friend Disney Dan, who normally does our hosting for us. And please go check out Dan's channel as well. All of their channels will be in the description. And Corey, how about you? I mean, you've been almost daily vlogging.
Yeah, well, big shout out to Walt here. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. It's always a pleasure having you and talking with you. And Meg, I'm really looking forward to seeing you in just like you said, a couple days.
I'm so excited.
Is it your first time at Jungle Skip, or have you been before?
I have never been there.
Sweet. You get to enjoy our favorite place for the first time with us. Awesome. But,
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I have been like somewhat daily vlogging. I'm back to like November was a crazy month. It was like Armageddon month in the Fiasco household. But I'm back on track with like my normality, which is like about 4 to 5 times a week. Like if I can. Sometimes I might miss one, but that's about right.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on that path too, where I only have so many days of normalcy. But I just want to give like a huge shout out to Corey and Walt here. Walt he like sent me a message last night, and I was like, please come join us. And he was like, no. And I was like, yes, come. Like, we love having guests. So if you guys are ever interested in coming to hang out with us, or you want to talk with us, just send us a message, and we would love to have you on our stream. And Corey, once again, like always so much fun to hang out with you. And I cannot wait to hang out with you and Haley in a couple days. I keep saying next week, but it is in a couple days, and I'm so excited. I will be leaving to go to Orlando in a few days. So if you guys are interested in any of my videos coming out, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, and please subscribe to Walt and Corey's channel and Dan's channel. Like I said, they were all in the description. Thank you to everyone who has been here tonight. It really means a lot to us. And I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you real soon. Bye.
Bye.